Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Indriana Putri Mareningrum, and I'd like to explain my material about language development in infancy and early childhood. We will discuss about prenatal learning, and then infant perception and categorization of phonemes, and then solving the segmental problems. Next is learning word meanings, and last is about acquisition of morphological and syntactic knowledge. First is prenatal learning. Classical behaviors approach to learning few children as blank slate, with their experience filling up their knowledge. However, recent research in child development has shown that young infants have an innate appreciation of important aspects of the world, including principle of visual perception and psychical properties of objects and substances and numbers. This had led many cognitive and developmental psychologists to subscribe to the babies are smart hypothesis, with language sentence how investigating just how smart babies are with respect to language skills. Next is about infant perception and categorization of phonemes. Infant learning their first language by listening to people talk without any direct instruction. They need to solve puzzles such as identifying phonemes, figuring out how they go together to make word and how words go together to make sentence. Infant must figure out the inventory of speech sound and how they are organized, which is a complicated task since no two speech sounds are identical. There is evidence of a genetic basis for some aspect of speech processing, but categorical perception of speech cannot be used as evidence for a genetically determined speech processing mechanism. Next is solving the segmental problem. This passage discusses the difficulty infants face in learning their first language, especially in identifying where word begin and influence speech. Only a small percentage of the word infant here are spoken in isolation, and the lack of silence between word and speech makes segmentation challenging. Infant must develop the ability to mentally chop speech into word-sized chunks, a skill that is not innate but instead built through experience. Next is learning word meaning. Children are highly efficient word learners and they can segment fluent speech into word-sized chunks of sound without any explicit training or feedback. However, before they can communicate effectively, they need to associate concept with package of sound or word. Children get better at learning words the longer they spend learning the language and the more skill they develop at discriminating between similar speech sound. Children can deduce new word meaning simply by hearing the word used a couple of times. And older children can deduce a word's meaning after hearing it used only once. The principle of contrast helps children learn how to organize words when more than one label can apply to a given concept. Okay, and the next is acquisition of morphological and syntactic knowledge. Language science have differing views on the origin of a child's knowledge of grammatical categories. Natives, nativists, believe that this knowledge is innate, while others believe that it is acquired through exposure to language. To test the natives' views, researchers have a look at whether children have an adult-like category of nouns and found that young children are selective in the way they combine words. They tend to combine nouns with only a small number of verbs, denoting a rhetoric's range of actions, rather than using nouns in a variety of different appropriated locations. This suggests that children's knowledge of grammatical categories is not fully developed at an earlier age, and it's refined through exposure to language. Okay, maybe that's all from me. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.